Hello and welcome to this review of my Fujitsu N860-12341234asdfasdf keyboard. Yep, another one of those stupidly long model names. I call it the Sanyo. That's because it came from a Fujitsu Sanyo MBC 550 or 555, and I got it for free actually because this was a skip find. It wasn't all that dirty, but it's been used pretty extensively, which has some impact on the key feel, which I'll talk about in just a bit. First, let's talk about Fujitsu. Fujitsu is a multi-billion-dollar IT company who have made a rather vast amount of computers, nowadays with all kinds of nasty rubber dome keyboards. And among keyboard enthusiasts are probably most well known for the FKB 4700, which has the notorious peerless switches, which is a quite complex dome with slider switch that is generally somewhat disliked. Check my FKB 4700 video if you want to know more about that one. Despite that, don't think Fujitsu only made crap. While the peerless switches on the 4700 aren't that great, the board is built like a tank, and the older stuff is quite impressive actually. Before the peerless switch, this is what Fujitsu used on their keyboards: Fujitsu leaf spring switches. It's a very old linear design from 1979, and apparently was put on certain Fujitsu keyboards until as late as about 2000. It came in 3 generations of gradually decreasing complexity and sophistication, and this one is the 3rd and last generation of it, presumably from somewhere in 1984, judging by this timestamp over here, which suggests that the first 2 generations didn't last very long. The switches consist of these switch plates that are lying down horizontally with a leaf spring on top, and when you press the leaf spring, it bridges a contact in the switch plate, and that's how it registers a key press. And on top of that is this discrete slider holder, and it sits on top a little bit like this. And as you can see, that means that the slider is not actually directly on top of the switch plate. It's staggered more or less half a unit to the left instead. Fujitsu leaf springs are known for being extremely smooth and well designed, and although this is the last generation of it, don't make the mistake of thinking it's a half-baked switch. These are seriously smooth. I'm talking Honeywell levels of smooth here, and the switch weighting is surprisingly low, measured at just 40 to 45 grams. They're not scratchy in the slightest, but the alpha keys on this board, even the single unit ones, bind very badly when you press them off-center like this. Like I said, it had a small amount of dirt in it originally, but I'm pretty sure that that's not the problem because the switches are really clean on the inside. The assembly seems to have been built quite dust-proof. However, the keycaps have a fair amount of shine on them, and the lesser used keys, such as those on the numpad, don't have this problem at all. They go down brilliantly if you press them off-axis. In fact, Fujitsu seems to have been so confident of their switch that they didn't bother to stabilize any of the keys except for the spacebar. So all that's holding this ginormous enter key upright is the switch stem, which is asking quite a lot to be honest, as you can see by the bizarre amount of wobble in it when I do stuff like this to it. So I think it's just that someone has used the fuck out of this thing for several decades. The binding feeling is not something inherent to the switch, I'm sure. Regardless, the more unused ones make Cherry MX Red look stupid by comparison, and although they don't feel as obviously buttered as Gateron Reds, which I think are lubed, they're just as smooth. God knows what these feel like when lubed. Also, possibly because of the massive keycaps, they make a really nice noise. Here, listen to this. How's that grab you? As for the construction, again something you wouldn't expect if you look at the flimsy rubber dome keyboards they make nowadays, old Fujitsu boards tend to be built really well, and this one is no exception. The top case cover has metallic paint on it, but it's not metal, it's just painted plastic, as you can see by these scratches here. But the back panel is though. And the mounting plate is too, bringing the weight to about 1.7 kilos. Not bad for a keyboard that doesn't even have a nav cluster. It's got a really weird, very stiff flip-out foot design on the back, and you can't get it all the way flat. This thing always remains upright. The top case feels remarkably dense, by the way. I don't know what plastic it's made out of, but it doesn't yield at all. And listen to this. Can you hear that vibrating noise? By the way, here's the back side of the PCB. I just wanted to show you this because look at it. You don't often see soldering work from the 80s that still looks this good. Damn, it's absolutely pristine. The cable is pretty thick and coiled, but it's also quite short. And although it comes with a 5-pin DIN connector, I haven't been able to get it to work even with my Saurus converter. Whether this is because it speaks some weird alien language my converter can't understand, or because it's actually electrically buggered, I don't know, because it has no lock lights to betray any potential buggeration. A shame really, because I think this would have been a fun guide to use. The keycaps are very distinctive. Like many early 80s caps, they have spherical tops, and they're made out of massive double-shot ABS with a cool Tron-like pattern on the inside. They're 3 millimeters thick, which is fully twice as much as even Cherry's venerable double shots, which are already pretty damn solid. And they're just a fraction thicker than even Honeywell caps, although those are still more dense overall. By the way, the fit is very tight, and it takes quite some effort to remove these, even with a key puller. Also, the slider is liable to come off, and if that happens, it's about as hard to remove as tits off of a bronze statue. They're pretty damn gorgeous though, some amazing craftsmanship here. Concluding, I kinda wish I had one of these that hadn't seen quite this much combat, and which my computer could actually talk to, because I think this would have been a blast to toy around with. This review should go to show that Fujitsu really kicked some ass in their time. Outstanding build quality, beautiful switches, if not too badly used, and it has a nice look about it as well. It looks really vintage, yet at the same time funky with that crazy metal paint on it. I think the switches would probably be a tad light to type on, but who knows, maybe Fujitsu inadvertently made the world's best gamer keyboard at least. That's it for this review. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and following is a typing demonstration of me typing on this keyboard. Next week, we're going to look at a Fujitsu that's even older.